it's Cindy and Jeannie bringing you another Bnow coffee chat.
Good morning, Cindy.
Hi, Jeannie.
I love waking up with a cup of coffee and our conversations.
You know, that's why we started recording them. Because they're too good not to share.
And I know I've told this story over and over again, but the truth never changes. You kept saying, we need to be recording. It's like, oh, Cindy, nobody would be interested in this. Well, I was wrong.
Yes, you were wrong on that one, because people like to watch people visit about things that are interesting, which today we're going to be talking about that old phrase, don't shoot the messenger.
There you go.
Because when I get a piece of information and I find it really interesting, and I feel like you're the same way, I want to learn more, and I do research. I became a master at researching when I wrote my historical novels.
Yes.
I just got so good at it, because what will happen, especially if you go to Wikipedia, is you have this little blue link underneath that says related articles. And then you learn even more and more and more. And it would take me down this rabbit hole that I had no idea I was going down. So personally, when somebody gives me a piece of information, then I don't discount it. I don't say it's not true until I look into it, if I think it's pertinent to something in my life. Right?
Right.
But, some people, there's so much going on right now. And it fascinates me how people will just shut you down when you have an interesting piece of information. For instance, right now, there is the rumor, or maybe it's true, that Trump is commander-in-chief. There's a kid named Derek Johnson out there who's in military, and he's gone viral telling everybody that Trump is our commander-in-chief. Well, you go to different people and they'll say, no, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Or you'll say, really? Or you say, really? Or they'll go, really? And they'll kind of go, But some people will actually maybe go see the piece of information that's on YouTube or anywhere, that this might very well be true. But it's interesting to me how some people will just deny something's true without even investigating it at all.
But don't you find that too? And when you're talking about this, just the premise of some people would just shut it down because of who's telling them.
Exactly.
And I have members of my own family that if I tried to share something with them that might help them, or give them a different perspective on a healing thing or whatever, they don't want to hear it. Why? Because it's me.
You're not wearing a white coat with a stethoscope and glasses.
I know, but I think it's also tainted because we have preconceived ideas. They grew up with me or whatever and saw me through my stupid teen years or whatever. Right. I don't know. I mean, I don't know when you get a, hall pass on this, and get out of, after school. I don't know. But
well, that's the truth. And that's something that we need to remember just in gossip. Mm-hmm. When people are gossiping about somebody, when people are spreading untruths about. So I know I've experienced that. I'm sure you have too, where people are spreading things about you that are not true. And how do we deal with that? And why do people believe that? I've had people come to me and have said, I heard that you blah, 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 blah. And that really hurt my feelings. Or you said blah, 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 blah. And it really hurt my feelings. And I say that to them every time. I said, you know me. Mm-hmm. Do you think I would ever intentionally try to hurt you? Mm-hmm. Do you think I would intentionally try to say something like that about you? Do you think that maybe something could have been taken out of context? That maybe somebody wants to divide us as friends or family or whatever? Do you think that that's their motive, is to separate us? Because I would never, ever do anything or say anything to hurt you.
I had a friend a long time ago when I lived in San Angelo, and she had divorced and remarried. And anyhow, her new husband was very insecure in this relationship. And he told her that I said something about him being a, whatever, a terrible thing. And I went, so let me just ask you something. First of all, why would you think that that would be true? You've known me all these years. Have you ever heard me say anything like this? And you know me well enough that if I actually thought that, if I felt like it was pertinent for you to know, I would say it, but I wouldn't say it that way. But no, and what I have learned, and I know we're probably getting down the rabbit hole a little bit on this because it's going away from that. But I had a horrible person once tell some awful tales about me to some other people. And, I was just stunned. I was shocked. I was crying. And, I finally thought the truth needs no defense. I never even tried to defend myself, to people that she went to. And I thought, truly, if they believe that about me, that tells me everything I need to know about them. Yeah.
Boy, is that true. Man.
It is. And, here's another thing. This is kind of funny, and this is not necessarily in that, but the way we deliver something can also push buttons for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to show you this very much, but I got this little thing in the mail the other day, and it just says, Mr. and Mrs. King. Well, my husband's a doctor, so I thought, well, okay, that's strange, but it's okay. We don't make a big deal out of it. But it had no return address or anything. Well, there is a particular religious group here in town. One of the girls used to work for me, and we get these anonymous mailings, from this religious organization trying to convert us. Mm-hmm. And so I almost threw it away because it was like, I know what that is. But then I thought, well, I don't really know what it is. And if it is that group, I just kind of want to have a laugh and see well, I opened it up, and it was another woman who used to work for me at the winery who's getting married next month. No. Okay. So, that's kind of another message in that she didn't think that thing through, and she probably had her daughter, just send I have no idea. But, I saw that in myself, that I was ready to just toss this thing away, and she'd be thinking, why didn't Jeannie respond?
Wow.
Yeah. So, that's another aspect of this.
Right. Which goes into that prejudging thing. That we all do it. And when we're at the retreat, we try to put that in its place.
We do.
And that's the number one rule of Bnow, is no prejudging. Whether you're at the retreat or not at the retreat, try to be more understanding and compassionate when somebody is toxic to you, that something major is going on in their life.
That's right.
They're not happy, and you can never take things personally.
Mm-mm.
Ever. The 4 agreements, how wise are they? You cannot do that. And so getting back to getting messages from people. So why do we believe people that are dressed up in nice suits on a screen in our living room when there's other information out there, and that they call, because I don't care what you talk about. Milk is good for you. Milk's not good for you. Eggs are good for you. Eggs are not good for you. It'll make you crazy.
It's fun, right? Yeah. 1 glass of wine a day is good for you. Alcohol is bad for you. It's like, make up your own mind.
Exactly. And so you find finally your tribe, the place of no judgment, which is really good. And I love what you said about when somebody attacks you, don't argue with them. Number one, they don't deserve your energy.
Right.
But number two, when somebody gets very defensive, guess what? It implies that maybe you're covering something up or that you are guilty of something.
So you bring up a great point. I used to tell my son when he was growing up, and he has a Taurus, and you're a Taurus, but he's a Sagittarian, but he has a Taurus ascendant. So by God, he wants things to be fair, and he's going to, stick his ground and all that jazz. So something would happen, or somebody would, talk smack about him, and he'd be, and I went, I just kind of want you to see it this way. If someone came up to you and said, hey, you're a big 8-foot ugly monster with purple face and green horns and big pimples on your face, would you get all worked up about it? You'd go, whatever, you're crazy. But if someone comes up to you and says, you're not a very good friend, if you have that in your heart and you think that maybe that's true, you're going to get crazy about that. I said, so you need to be clear on how you feel about yourself.
Exactly. Because what happens is they project a judgment on you.
That's
and
right.
That's, again, that big word judgment. So yesterday, my little granddaughter, who is very athletically built, she's beautiful, she's 7 years old. Some little boy walked up to her and said, you're fat. Well, she's not fat at all, right? But it really hurt her feelings. And so everybody was giving her advice on what to do with this, because she's not fat at all. But kids are mean on playgrounds. They just are mean. And I remember I used to tell my daughter, and the way that she stopped some people talking mean to her was we just said, she would say, you must have somebody being very mean to you at your house because you want to be mean to me.
Oops. Right.
And she said that put the fire out every time. Somebody at your house must be being mean to you because I didn't do anything to you.
Right.
And you're mean. You're being mean to me. So who's
it didn't have anything to do with her. We're old enough to remember like Dear Abby and Ann Landers, the columnists. Sure. And, Ann Landers would say, or Dear Abby, or one of them would say, somebody would come up to them and ask them, is it true that your husband's running around on you? Or, how many months pregnant are you, when they weren't pregnant? And, you get defensive, it's like, wait a minute. And what she said, this one woman had written in and said, I don't know what to say. And the answer was, you just take a deep breath and you look at him and say, why would you ask me a question like that? Mm-hmm. That's it.
Answer the question with
put it on them. Right. But let's go back to what you were talking about, like people, men in dress up suits, or women, who are put in positions of power with all their sycophants and stuff like that. A friend of mine on Facebook, who is here also, he's a business owner, and he had posted and said, don't forget, the same people that locked your businesses down, closed up your schools, caused you financial ruin and medical pain are now up for re-election again. Don't forget that. And I went, yeah, baby, it's true. Right. You have to be aware, because like you said, it's easy to get sucked back into that cycle.
Oh man. And I lost a really good friend one time because I know how men can be, because I've experienced it. And so she and her husband were on the outs getting a divorce. And when that's happening, there are people who want to throw you off balance. And so they try to, so your closest friends, they will try to make you hate your closest friends. They don't want you to have a support system or whatever.
Right.
And so her husband had been seeing somebody on the side, and she had found out about it. But we were having a conversation one day, and I said, you know, he probably even told you that I hit on him, because that's what men like to do. They like to say, oh, by the way, your really good friend hit on me, kind of thing, right?
Bingo, right?
And she said, how did you know? And I said, oh, so he did? I said, well, that's pretty typical. She said, yeah, but how did you know? I said, well, because it was done to me. Yeah, but how did you know? So she believed that I did, and I was trying to cover it up. So then I had another friend, same situation. And I told her that story. And I'll be darned if her husband didn't do the exact same thing. Your friend Cindy hit on me. And I said, you gotta be kidding. I've never even had a conversation with him, ever. But she, at first, wasn't 100%, and I could tell that. So when somebody tells you something about someone who loves you or is very close to you and tries to imply that they betrayed you, look and see what their agenda is.
Yep.
Because that happened twice. So the first one, she's gone. She couldn't understand why I would know that. It's called experience. But the second one listened to me, because then he eventually started saying other people that.
She was like, in your dreams, buddy.
Yeah, there were other people that were her friends that were hitting on him.
Yeah.
He's not hittable, number one. Okay.
Not to that level yet.
Yeah.
Although this
Yeah.
reminds me, this is kind of off topic, but a friend of mine had posted, she's hilarious, and said, every time you hear that being the mistress on the side never pays off, I want you to think of this. And they show a picture of Camilla with the King of England. I was like, oh, well, there's an exception there. You could end up being the queen consort. Just,
Oh gosh. Well, you know,
I have a sick sense of humor.
There's all kinds of stuff out there, but when it comes to sex, that's a hot topic.
Yeah, it is.
That is a hot topic, and it's a passionate topic, and it's, I can go on that subject about my ex. My ex, he was so sick. What he would do is he would sleep with a colleague or somebody and invite me to lunch with her sitting next to him.
What?
Oh yeah. And just thought that was so funny. When I showed up, when I thought we were just going to have lunch together, and there was a woman sitting there, and how did I know? Because she was so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So uncomfortable. And I went, you jerk, man. What a jerk. So you slept with her, because he was charming and good looking and fun and all that. So you slept with her. Does she even know you had a girlfriend or a wife? So he liked to he did that 6 times that I can think of right off the bat. Just
so here's the operative word: ex-husband.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was trying to find. That's another thing that happens when you're thinking about leaving. There's some people that can just get up and run out the door, but I'm Little Miss, or used to be Little Miss Second Chance.
How's that working for you? Yeah, no.
There's that country song, give me just one more last chance.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't think so. But let's
Onward.
get back to the topic of, don't shoot the messenger, because really many times we have to just deliver a message and not make it mean anything. If somebody receives it, they receive it. If they don't receive it, they don't receive it. And it's on them.
You
Okay?
know, you know, on that note, we know, and I know, and I used to be this way a little bit. I finally stopped. Conscientiously, I had to stop. Some people are not comfortable with a compliment. So isn't that interesting? So you'll say, wow, you look really nice today. Oh, this old thing, or, or
Look at my hair. It looks
oh,
like
look at my hair. I need a haircut, or don't look at my toes. I need a pedicure, kind of thing. It's like they completely screwed up the compliment. I remember going to a girl at school, and she had her hair all up, and she always had it down. She had it all up, and I said, wow, I like your hair. I remember, I'll never forget this in high school. She was a popular girl, and she said, oh, I had to put it up because it's so filthy. Well, what happened? The rest of the day I saw her. I said, she's got dirty hair instead of a cute hairstyle.
Well, one of the things that I learned, and I also teach my coaching clients, is when anybody, and you know this because we talk about this at Bnow,
Right.
is when anyone gives you a compliment, what you need to do is, and I actually see it like an infinity sign between our hearts, and you have to receive it.
Right.
And thank them, and because it goes back to them and it comes back to you. And so and it's hard to do right at first, is I look at them and I say, thank you. I received that.
I like the way you do that. I love how you do that.
And, I learned that and I've had so much training. And in I was in this real long training in Denver, and I learned that. And at first it was so weird. And they had, after a number of days, and they had us standing in a circle with our hands out, and they had one person kind of come around, and, we all took turns, and they would put their hands on our hands, and we would look at them and say, what I love about you is your smile. What I love about you is your gentleness. What I love about you is your strength, or whatever. And they had to, around the whole circle, look at the person, say, thank you, I received that. I got to tell you, it brought us to tears.
That's because we live in a society. We live in a society, and in our media, that if you don't look a certain way, or you're not educated a certain way, or then you're less than.
Yeah.
But
we're encouraged to be self-deprecating.
Yes.
If I were to come to you and I go, Cindy, look at me. I look great in this color, and I don't think my hair has ever looked better. You'd be thinking, what the hell? I want what she's drinking in her coffee, right? Well, it's simply because we're not allowed to do that. We're not trained to do it,
but it feels good to do it, doesn't it?
Yeah. But if I were to come to you and go, oh, Cindy, oh my God, I can't believe I wasn't quite ready for this. And, I got da-da-da and, whatever. And I screwed up the coffee. You'd go, oh, girl, not you, but someone would go, oh, girl, I totally get that, So we're encouraged.
And women do that. Women do that.
Men do.
And then there's also that's nice. That's nice. That's a Southern thing for all of you who don't know about Southern women. There's a great joke that says, I have to use a cuss word, so I'll prepare you, about these three women on a cruise. And one woman says, my husband gave me $5,000 to buy this new wardrobe for this cruise. And the girl next to her says, that's nice. And the other one says, that's nice. The second woman says, well, this is our 6th cruise this year. We love to cruise, and we always go first class. That's nice. That's nice. So the third woman says, well, honey, tell us about you. My husband sent me to charm school. So I can learn how to say, I don't give a shit. Oh, no, so I messed up. So I don't say, I don't give a shit. And I say, that's nice. That's nice. Anyway.
That's with Southern women, I'm telling you.
Southern women, that's nice. Or if they have something to say about you that's negative, well, bless her heart. Do you see those shoes she's wearing with that dress?
Bless her heart.
Bless her heart. Is she colorblind? Well, bless her heart.
What can I say?
Because we're exactly.
There was a parody about a Southern women and having a magazine called Gardens and Guns. Because we go outside, we pull weeds while we're plotting who we're going to kill. Don't mess with us, seriously.
Oh my gosh. You know, I don't know very many Texas friends that don't carry a gun with them. No kidding. Well, and I'm from California. I said, what do you guys do? Here's my gun. Here's my gun. I have a girlfriend who rides her bicycle with this beautiful basket with flowers all around it. She's got a revolver, which is trying. So anyway.
Well, it's the only responsible thing to do, because not only, seriously, it isn't just about human predators. I mean, where I live, there are rattlesnakes.
Yes, that's right.
I'm not joking you.
Oh, that's right.
There are, cougars. There are, not that I would shoot to kill a cougar or whatever, but if
coyotes, coyotes are nocturnal, but yeah, and the coyotes.
Yeah, but so again, there's that message thing, like, well, anyone who carries a gun is like whatever. And so I'm thinking like, well, if you don't care enough about yourself to carry a gun, right, there's that. But I'm not going to tell you what to do. But anyhow, I'm so glad we're having this conversation.
Yeah, I'd like to close with one little story and encourage people, girls or men, if you're listening, when somebody tells you something, don't judge it right away. Don't say negative or positive either way necessarily. Like you're positive that somebody is trying to talk ugly about you, or just always try to find out if there's truth to it. Because my husband has this beautiful saying, oh Jean, you're going to love this story, of condemnation without investigation is the epitome of ignorance. Mm-hmm. Well, when we first got married, I went from Redondo Beach, superb omelet maker, to, okay, we're going to do grits and hash browns and go country, right? So we were living in a trailer because we were waiting for our house to be built. And I made him the most beautiful country breakfast. But what I did was I made the bacon, and then I popped some eggs in that bacon grease and did hash browns and onions and bell peppers and toast and everything. And I proudly gave it to him. And he looked at the plate and he says, you scabbed my eggs. Because when you put it in the bacon grease, you get a little crispy. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him, and we were first together. And I looked at him and I said, well, honey, you don't have to eat that. And I picked it up and gave it to the dog.
I'll bet that cured that.
And I said, since you know how you like your eggs cooked, go ahead and cook them, right? The next time I made him an egg or attempted to make an egg, Jean, you will die, because this is so not you. 3 years before I made him another egg.
I love that about you.
He got really good at making eggs for breakfast himself.
Right.
Until that one day when I finally said, okay, show me. Okay. Well, fast forward 15 years. We're married 15 years. He's working in Las Vegas at an extended stay place. And he calls me up. He says, boy, do I owe you an apology. And I just made myself some bacon and dropped a couple eggs in there. Those were the best eggs.
Yeah, buddy.
And I said, oh, Mr. Condemnation without investigation, all this time? So now what do? We make bacon and drop the eggs. And I'm making them eggs again.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, another good conversation. Thank you. And thank you to our audience. Thank you for tuning in. Please share this.
Yes.
Please let us know. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about.
We are the Bnow beautiful network of women. So networking means you tell a friend, you tell a friend, you tell a friend, and we'll all come together, healing this world with love. That's what we do.
Amen.
Love you, Jean.
Thank you. Love you.
Okay.